It is week 5 of ultra training. I didn't recover very well Sunday, which normally I recover pretty quick, so that was a little surprising. That's right, we have days where the body isn't going to feel amazing. It's Tuesday. Yesterday I had a slow, like a 3.5 mile, just kind of a shakeout run from, just kind of still recovering from my long run on Saturday. I did a 10-mile trail run. That was my first like full trail run I've done. Well, I've done like some very small ones, but that was especially my first long trail run. I did 10 miles with like 500 feet of elevation, which I had to run up a hill for because that's just what we have in Austin. But it went pretty good. My body felt solid. My knees felt it a little bit, but my recovery definitely felt it. I didn't recover very well Sunday, which normally I recover pretty quick, so that was a little surprising. But it is what it is. I did a shakeout run Sunday, and then obviously my shakeout run yesterday. Another 3 miles with the heart rate under 135. So today I've got a 6 to 7 mile run. I'm gonna go to Lady Bird Lake and run on the trail there. I try to avoid running on pavement as much as I can. So Lady Bird Lake, 6 to 7 miles. I always aim to hit the higher number. So I'm gonna try to do 7 miles at in between a 140 and a 150 heart rate. So should be pretty chill. That's normally like 10s for me. So normally waking up early and especially running early are not at all what I like to do. It sucks every morning, but I'm always grateful that I did it afterwards, and the mental clarity that I get after is always so much worth it. And I feel like when you just start your day off with something hard and something that you don't like, the rest of the day kind of flows, and it sets the tone for the rest of the day of saying, hey, if I have hard things, I'm just gonna get up and I'm just gonna do it. Who cares if it sucks? I'm gonna do it. And so that's something I've been trying to build, and 30 days in, and it's been good. Obviously I don't wake up at 5 every time for those, but a good chunk of them I do. Sometimes on the weekend I let myself sleep in a little bit, but honestly, with my long run on Saturday, I'm normally starting by 6. I have church on Sunday mornings, and I always run before that. So I mean, realistically, I'm never really sleeping in. No. I mean, I'll sleep until like 5:30 and maybe get up at 6. But yeah, this is day 30 of doing that. It's been great. I don't plan on stopping. I'm hoping to see how much I can push through, but that's been something that's been really good. And I think it's important for people to push themselves mentally too and challenge the brain. I feel like not enough people do that. Early bird just pulled in. We're gonna get some warm-ups in, and then we're gonna get this 7 mile in. So that was Tuesday's run, done with 7 miles. Kept the heart rate, average heart rate was 150. The goal was anywhere between 140 and 150. Most of the time I push it to the highest I can go. Yeah, so that's how I like to go as fast as I possibly can. I averaged a 10:46 pace, 269 feet of elevation, which isn't terrible. Pretty solid. Didn't feel the best during it. Sorry, we have days where the body isn't going to feel amazing. So gonna hit home, get breakfast, change, shower, all that. And then yeah, I think that's it for the training today. I'll probably stretch today. Might possibly hit an upper body workout if I can squeeze it in. We'll see. Tuesday's run done. That's day 30 also of running every day, which is sweet. So definitely building momentum on that. See y'all later. It is Wednesday morning, and today I have a 5 to 6 mile run, 1.5 mile warm up, and then 5 sessions of 2-minute hill sprints, and then another 1.5 mile cool down. Should be around 5 miles. Depending on how much distance I cover through the hill, I'll just make up in the cool down. But it should be 5 miles today. There's not a ton of places here. There's a hill near my house that I go to that's pretty steep, and I'll probably go there. The only thing that sucks is it's like in the middle of like a business center type of deal, and so there's nowhere really good to run before and after. But there are some trails right next to it, so I might just warm up 1.5 mile warm up on the trail, and then go hit the hill, and then maybe cool down on the hill or on the trails, or just, I don't know, run around the center. But I'm gonna get some food in me, and then we're gonna go bust these out. I've tried running fasted, and I just crash so hard after a run if I don't eat before. Even if I like don't eat before, run, and then immediately eat food when I get back. The moment I get back and eat that food, I need a nap at that point. Where if I eat food before, go work out, and then eat again, that normally kind of helps. So I'm gonna eat something, and then we're gonna head out. It's probably, I don't know, 7 o'clock right now, so we're about to get this done. So I'm 178 days out from the Hoka endurance trail run, which is the 50K that I'm doing in January. One of the reasons, well, I guess to give some context, I ran my first ever race in February of this year. I ran a half marathon. I think I was running maybe 2.5 months before that. Well, I started actually October of last year was when I first did my first run. Slowly kind of started running maybe one time a week. Was averaging like 5 miles a week for a little bit of time. And then I would probably say beginning of the year, January, was when I started maybe running 2 or 3 times a week. Mainly just kind of like for social reasons. I was going to like a run club. One of my good friends runs, so I was just running with him. Didn't really have a schedule. I was just kind of going out and running whatever. I ran the half marathon in February with like an hour and 55 minutes. It was like an 8:48 pace. Granted, the course is very like it's a very fast course, very downhill, and it was really cold. So I think that actually like helped, just like everything. But I was pretty impressed, and I definitely got the bug. I really liked the atmosphere of the half marathon. And I think that really just like, I think I was starting to enjoy running a little bit more, or just like the thrill of running and the freedom that it gives you. So my goal was to run a marathon by the end of this year. And then I had the idea of like, what if I ran, my birthday was in June, I turned 26, and I was like, what if I just ran 26 miles on my birthday? Or 26.2, I'll run a marathon, but just for fun, like just wake up and go out and run it. So I hit up my buddy who's ran a bunch of marathons, and I was like, yo, you want to do this with me? He's like, yeah, I'm down. So on my 26th, or the day before my 26th birthday, I went out and ran. And my goal was like, I'm going to try to get 26.2, so I can say I've run a marathon before. Obviously not official. But the back of my head was like, if I could run 26.2, I want to just go for the 30. That way I can consider it an ultra, or I guess 31. And so we went out the day before my birthday. Leading up to that day, the most I had ever run at once without stopping was 15 miles. And that was like 2 weeks before that. So I was literally going to try to double down on the most I had ever run. We went out, started around 6 a.m. and sure enough, at mile 20, I looked at him and I was like, I've got 30 in me for sure. So we got to like 28, 29, my legs were absolutely cooked. And I looked at him and I was like, dude, I don't think I can go any further. And he was like, come on. He was like, we can just, we can do 2 more. So there we went. We knocked out 2 more. And I hit my first ever 30-mile run, and I think that alone, that run, just kind of like unlocked some beliefs and knocked down some limiting beliefs, and I think put me in that state for the first time of just like the body not wanting to move, and the mind just kept saying like, go, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And I definitely enjoyed that feeling. And so I almost immediately was like, I want to run an ultra. I want to run my first 50K. And so I started looking around, found an ultra in Bandera, which I live in Austin, Texas. Bandera is south of me, kind of in San Antonio, West San Antonio in the hill country. And they do a 50K and a 100K ultra. And so I was like, you know what, screw it. I hurry up and signed up because I was like putting it off. And there is 3,600 feet of elevation in this trail race, so good bit of climbing. It's obviously all on a trail, super rocky terrain, and I've heard that the terrain is actually fairly technical. But I signed up for that, and so now I am locked into training. I knew once I signed up for it, it would be a lot easier for me to be like, all right, let's start working towards this. And so I kind of just signed up because I knew it was going to push me to train. And 31 miles with that much elevation is not easy. And so I knew by signing up for it, it was going to push me to train really hard and to be committed to the training plan. So I pretty much immediately hopped on ChatGPT, fed it a bunch of information about the race, about me, my running stats, and how to kind of come up with a training plan for me. And you know, here we are. So it's not like I have a bunch of ultra experiences. This is going to be my first ultra. Like I said, barely any race experience. I've ran a half marathon and that's about it. So I've really just been trying to get my legs used to a higher load weekly. I'm slowly going up. I think this week I'm hitting high 30s. Leading up to this, I was averaging more or less 20 miles a week, probably lower than that. So I think this will be my third week. I hit 2 40-mile weeks the week of my birthday when I ran the ultra, and the week after, I believe. And then I had like an off week, hit a 20-mile week, and then I think this is going to be my third 30-mile week. So I'm definitely doing more mileage than I've ever done before, but it's been pretty solid. I've been really focused on trying to stay in the gym and lifting at least 2 leg days a week, especially with the elevation and the terrain. I really want my legs to be strong for that, and also just like be healthy. And I know it's really good to lift while you're running, so that's one thing I've really been focusing on, and it's been going pretty well. One and a half mile warm up into 5 2-minute hill sprints. Let's go.
Just finished the hills. That was brutal. 1.3 miles of hills. Max heart rate got up to 186, which is pretty decent. I think last time I got up to 195, but that was like more in the middle of the afternoon, so pretty solid. I really do not want to do this 1.5 mile shakeout run. Gonna knock it out. These are like the runs that suck the most, are the shakeouts after a tough run, because obviously like you don't have to go fast, but you're just so tired that you want to go fast to get it over with. But this is just like firsthand what I say, good way to practice discipline. Good training for the brain of just like, we're going slow, it sucks, but it is what it is, and that's what we're doing. So gonna get it in. 1.5 miles. That 1.3 miles that I just did was 518 feet of elevation. So essentially every time I go up is about 100 feet, which is as good as I'm gonna get probably here in Austin. If I actually had the time to get all the way, like it's 5 minutes up or 5 minutes running, and then I get a 2-minute cool down. Half the time I can't even get all the way down the hill. So if I was able to make it all the way down the hill and go all the way up, it'd probably be closer to like 150, maybe even like 120s, like a sprint. But because I can't get down to the bottom in time, I just, whenever my watch beeps after the 2-minute rest, I just go back up. So pretty solid elevation for Texas. I'm gonna get this 1.5 miles and then go home and have a fat breakfast. All right, just finished. That was the lamest cool down I've ever had. Just in the shopping complex, I literally was going up and down the parking lot of every single lane just to get extra distance, because there's really nowhere to. This hill is great, but I didn't want the mosquitoes on the trail were unbelievable when I was warming up, so I didn't want to go back down over there. So I was like, I'm just gonna run around the complex. It sucked, but we got it in. Let's see what the stats are looking like. So we did the 1.5 mile warm-up. That was at like a 14-minute pace. I also had my camera with me, so I was like setting that up, getting some shots while I was running. But also on a trail, I have to go way slower to keep my heart rate where I need to for a warm-up, so that's just what it is. That was 1.5, pretty much zone 1, peaking into zone 2. And then the hill sprints was 1.3 miles, and that was average heart rate was 153, max heart rate was 186. I think it gets my heart rate coming down as well on the rest, if I'm not mistaken. But if it doesn't, then that needs to be, I think the average for that should be a little bit. That's something I will work on next time, is consistent higher output, I guess, on the hills, keeping my heart rate higher from the very beginning. And then obviously we have the 1.5 at also a pretty slow 14-minute pace, because I couldn't keep my heart rate below 140 unless I was walking. So I really didn't want to walk, so I was just running as slow as possible, and then I would walk sometimes. But got it done. Today's Wednesday. I think I am definitely going to hit an upper body day at the gym. I leave to Florida tomorrow for one of my friend's bachelor's parties, I guess, vacations. We'll be there for 2 days. So I moved my long run from Saturday to Friday. Saturday is going to be a recovery day. I might just do a shakeout run in the morning. And we fly back early Sunday morning, like have to be at the airport by 3:30 in the morning. And then we get back into Austin. Sunday might not run, or just do a light shakeout run, like a mile or something. But yeah, I think tomorrow is also a fairly chill run. I think it's 4 miles, zone 2. Probably kind of keeping it low effort to keep my legs ready for the long run on Friday. So, but yeah, gonna hit an upper body day. Since we're going to Florida, hit the beach, gotta get a quick pump in. And then at the end of this month, I also go on a cruise with my wife to celebrate our 4-year anniversary, which will actually be the first like official vacation that her and I have been on that hasn't included like going to visit family or something along those lines. So super excited for that. And yeah, I think that'll be most of the training for today. I'll probably bring y'all to the gym. But yeah, Wednesday, done skis. Let's get it. Good morning. It is Tuesday of the following week. I didn't get any footage of training on Thursday, Friday, or through the weekend. I guess I got my easy 3 miles in on Thursday before the airport because I left to Tampa. And then on Friday, I was supposed to have a long run, and I went out and ran it like later in the day, and it was just brutally hot in Florida. And I did 8 miles, so I cut it 2 miles short. I was supposed to have like a 10-mile run, and just cut it a little short just because of the heat and the lack of sleep. Saturday was another crazy day, and pretty much just got in a quick mile. I just squeezed it in between. We were literally about to go to a dinner reservation, and I was like, I'm just gonna bust it out real quick. So I did that, and then Sunday, which is when I got back, I did a shakeout mile, almost like a walk run type deal. I randomly got like a little bit of a pain in like my lower calf / Achilles area on my left foot. So I might try to just do a mile a day this week. And maybe do some cross training on a bike or swim or something. I'm kind of waiting to see how it's going to feel, but that's what my weekend of training looked like. It was pretty low key just because of everything that was going on, but still got in some miles, and another solid week 5. Definitely a tougher week. Things are getting busy, but I'm still squeezing it in. I know going into this next week, I need to make sure that I'm getting up early to knock out the runs just to get them over with. It's way easier when I'm getting them out of the way early. So that's going to be my focus for this next week. But all in all, a great week, and I am excited to run it back this week. It's already Tuesday, so. I hope y'all have enjoyed this. I'm going to try to stay consistent with posting my weekly training, and take you all along for the journey. So if you watch this entire thing, I greatly appreciate that. And we will see y'all later today because I'm going to be filming, but we'll see y'all next week for week 6 of ultramarathon training for the Hoka Endurance 50K. Deuces.